Superstar Worldwide Summit, and I'm excited today to have Jim Palmer on. Jim and I met back in 2009, and he's been a total inspiration to me and just the way he's lived his life. I'm so thankful that he is here to talk about direct marketing with you today. I can't thank you enough, Jim, for coming on. I'm going to let Jim introduce himself and give him a little bit more about himself and how we met and kind of where he is today and how he uses direct marketing. So anyway, welcome, Jim. Glad to have you, my friend.
Charles, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, and congratulations on your summit and everything you're doing, everything you've been through, too. You know, we met in 2009. I was speaking in Richmond, Virginia, I believe.
Yep.
And, you know, as usually when I talk, whether I'm talking about newsletters, retention, or, you know, talking about entrepreneurial success, I do talk a little bit about my backstory, and that, in fact, is what resonated with you so strongly. And so we had kind of a connection there. And as you say, we've stayed in touch through some email, my videos, and books. I know you're getting all my books and stuff like that. So
I do have all your books. So
it's a pleasure to be on your show. I'm looking forward to sharing some good stuff.
So let's start with your whole story. Like, that's what so profoundly stuck with me, Jim. Like, I know in 2011 or 2012 when I was faced with my own challenges of my son in the hospital, and just it's a marathon you're going through. It's not a sprint, and it's just the endurance of every day, the uncertainties of it, and not knowing what's coming the next day with new doctor prognoses. And anyway, your whole story, I think I shared with you an email. I leaned on that a lot. Just I kept reminding myself of all the stuff you've overcome and now your success after getting through it. And so when you agreed to do this, that alone was exciting for me, because I don't know of anybody else that we have quite that connection like you and I do, that with the success behind us and stuff. So
you know what's interesting, Charles, is you and I know a little bit about each other's stories, right? But everybody has a story. Everybody goes through tough times. Everybody is challenged, and you know, I forget who said it first, but tough times don't last, tough people do, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, my story started in the summer of 2000 when my position was eliminated, which is a sanitized way of saying I lost my job. And so I was really quite I'd done all right for myself, so I was a little bit cocky and had a big ego and things like that. And I actually told my wife not to panic. We had 4 grown children at home at the time, 4 teenagers, and I said, honey, don't worry, I'm going to be fielding multiple lucrative job offers in a couple weeks, max. Well, that turned into 15 months, and you know, we lost whatever savings we had. We were going heavily into debt, keeping the family. I mean, family of 6 is not inexpensive with mortgage and all the insurances and whatnot. And then, just to make what I've now referred to as my season of crises even a little more stressful, 12 months after I lost my job, is when I was first diagnosed with stage 2 cancer. So I had to fight that as well. And being unemployed, it really drove me into a pretty shallow place, dark place, drove me to my knees, quite honestly. And you know, I just reached out to God to help me. He literally saved my life, gave me new inspiration. In October of 2001, after successful surgery, it's when I decided to start a business for myself. And the short story of that is my first 5 years, I built a multiple 6-figure business, and then in 2005, in the summer of 2005, my wife Stephanie asked me a question. One summer evening, we were sitting out back, and she goes, "Hey, I got a question to ask you." And I'm thinking, what's coming my way here? And she said, "When are we going on vacation?" And you know, up to that point, Charles, the last vacation we had was June of 2000, a month before I'd lost my job. We did a nice family trip up through New England and Canada. And so then through the unemployment and then through the lean years of starting a business, we didn't do anything. And so that was a turning point for me for a couple reasons. Number one, I could afford to go on vacation, but the turning point for me as an entrepreneur is I realized I just spent almost 5 years building a business that I didn't want to have, meaning I was tied like an anchor, like a ball and a chain to this business. I was the founder and president of a corporation, my corporation, Dynamic Communication was the name of the company, but I was doing everything. I had the only job in the company that I owned, and I realized I can't go away for a week because I was doing everything, chief cook, bottle washer, everything. And it was at that point that I started the transition into the 2006 timeframe when I learned about internet marketing, direct response marketing, leverage, started learning a lot of success principles, started studying all these successful entrepreneurs. And so in late 2006, 2007, I started my second business, which is No Hassle Newsletters. And from there, we just took off, and I think we have, last count, 5 or 6 online businesses. I run 2 live events a year called Dream Business Academy. I have a pretty successful coaching program called Dream Business Coaching and Mastermind Program. So it's been an interesting journey. And the fun thing is, if Steph says she wants to go on vacation, I can do it now, not only financially, but I can walk away from the business and things still keep running. So I've kind of made that transition where, sometimes people, they will achieve financial success, but they don't have time freedom. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's probably a very long answer to your question.
No, it's actually awesome, man. I just, every day what I love about being an entrepreneur is the obstacles you face, and the challenges that present themselves throughout the day. And 2012, that was my challenge. And anyway, but as your business grew, like you started learning more direct marketing principles and online principles. So as far as one of the things I love about your business is you're not just focused online. You're focused on a total multimedia, multi-channel approach. So tell us more about that and some of the things you started implementing. I know you've got your radio show and your weekly video that you do. So.
Yeah, I've been doing, so Charles, this whole thing, so I've coined the phrase, my $1 million platform on a shoestring budget. It's largely what I teach at Dream Business Academy. So we do videos, podcasting, article marketing, lots of social media. We do email, we do newsletters, online and offline. I'm probably leaving out a few things here, but we run the gambit across all these different marketing platforms, and the reason to do that for anybody that's watching is people will consume information in different ways, right? So somebody may prefer to listen to podcasts. It's one of the reasons I started Stick Like Glue Radio is people love listening to podcasts, whether they're on the treadmill or exercising or whatever, and so they like to consume information that way. Some people like to sit in front of the monitors and watch videos. I've been doing weekly videos, Newsletter Guru TV. I'm going to my 6th year, having never missed a week. I started back in the day when the flip phones came out. Remember the Kodak flip phone? And it was like $100, $120. Everybody got videos going. Everybody got the flip phone. And even some good friends of mine who started their weekly shows, they've all dropped off. I'm still doing weekly shows. And I got to tell you, one of the questions you don't want to ask is, what is the best thing that you should do for your business? There's a lot of things, but if I had to choose one, I would continue to do my weekly videos because that's where I truly, so I'm going to silence that noise there, sorry. That's where I truly acquire most of my new clients is through the videos. Videos are so powerful because it allows you to meet with people kind of one-on-one in an authentic way. And so when you can do that week in, week out, not every video is like a home run, but they don't all suck either. As long as you share some good information, do it in an entertaining way, people will come back. And that's kind of what I've done with Newsletter Guru TV. We have, on average, we have around 1,200 to 1,300 small business owners watch the videos every week.
That's awesome, Jim. That's phenomenal. I know I look forward to it every week. I'm one of those 12 or 1,300 people just to see what you're talking about and what lessons you're learning. So one other thing I know that I always try to do with a business is transition them into continuity revenue, where you're billing them month after month versus on an individual basis. And almost every business I work with, I try to implement some form of continuity revenue into their business just because it's so transformative. Instead of billing every month, once the time you get that payment over and over.
Yep.
So I know you are a master at this. You've got several businesses where you've got continuity coming in from different streams. So talk about that for us and how that's changed your whole business dynamics. And
continuity income is one of the better types of revenue to have. Obviously, it's regular and it's reoccurring. But here's the thing, so it's not like this panacea. People come and people go to your membership program. So if you just create it and try and let it run and always just produce a nice check every month, you got to realize some people are going to leave for whatever reason. They don't find value in what you're doing, they don't use it, and they therefore won't pay for it. So you always have to be putting new people in. So the concept of continuity income is a good one, but you always have to be providing good value, or the people won't stay. So the other part of that is multiple streams of revenue are good. What I say when I speak is if you have a successful business, you've got great cash flow and profits, you're going to sleep at night. But if you want to sleep just like a bear in the winter, multiple streams of revenue will do that, because it allows you to smooth out one goes down, you still got the other one. So multiple streams of revenue is a good thing. And by the way, one of the ways that I've built my businesses is that there are a number of ancillary services that support each other. So when I started No Hassle Newsletters originally, we were providing a lot of content, done for you content. Then we started adding done for you templates, and then people really like that. That's still the core of what No Hassle Newsletters is, but they wanted, how can I get them printed and mailed? So I launched my Concierge Print and Mail program. Then they wanted to do some really custom articles specific to their business, so we launched the Custom Article Generator, and on it went. So all these, and No Hassle Social Media was a program that we have that gives people a ton of content to help them with their social media, because social media, by and large, is putting out interesting content, right? That's going to help do a relationship, and that's the part. Nobody's got time to write content. So all these different places I looked at, where are people stuck, what are their pain points, how can we help them build and develop stronger relationships with their customers, clients, and patients. That's kind of the road we've taken.
That's awesome, Jim. I know in the last video you talked about retention, and that's another just topic I love to talk about also, is because so many business owners, they look at bringing in new customers, and that's 90% of their focus, and they don't focus on retaining their current customers. But you and I both know that that's the essence of true growth and profitability. Once you have them in the door, just treat them like you want to be treated. You know, like, that's how I always think about it. So talk to us about that as far as retaining customers and how important that is.
So I did a video on retention. It was during the summer, I remember, so it was either summer of 2013 or 2012, but I titled it, which, by the way, here's another lesson: make sure you title your videos and things that would be interesting and pique curiosity. So I titled it Dating After Marriage. It got a huge number of, and what I'm talking about is when you're dating a prospective spouse or whatever, you know, you're on your best behavior, you're wearing your clean shirt, you're being nice and taking showers, bringing candy, doing whatever you need to do to keep the relationship going. In other words, there's effort being made to take the relationship to the next level, whatever that may look like, right? It's the same way in business. We date our prospective customers. When we get a brand new client, a prospective client, of course, we're treating them very, very well. We want to woo them into our business to become a customer. And then what happens? You get married, and a lot of people will kind of, maybe not immediately, there's the honeymoon stage, right? And I'm not a relationship expert like my friend Susie Miller, but you know, there's a somewhere along the lines, you know, when you go off to work or your spouse goes off to work, they're going to come home. Mm-hmm. And there'll be dinner and there'll be conversation, and you get into a routine, so you stop doing things that you did when you initially wanted to I'm going to sound really old, but court or woo or date, you know, whatever the right word is. And it's the same way. When you get a customer in your business, that's almost like getting married. Well, then what happens? Well, let's go, you know, in business, not in marriage, but in business, let's go get another one, right? And they forget the relationship they just consummated, if you want to look at it that way. And so what's smarter is developing that relationship, making it stronger. When they became a customer, they did so by way of an initial transaction. So they gave you money. They purchased one of your products or one of your services. They did that because they found out that you had something they want, and they showed that they trust you by giving money. Why would you want to go start at ground zero with a whole new, you know, group of people that don't even know you, instead of bringing this person along and getting more resales, getting more referrals, and things like that? One of the ways when I'm out speaking, I'll say to somebody, listen, I got a challenge for you. I'm going to give you $10,000, not really, but I'm going to give you $10,000 if you can sell just 5 of whatever it is you sell make 5 sales, and across the hall from where we are now, there's 2 doors. Door number 1 has 50 people that know you, like you, trust you, have already given you money, and door number 2 has 500 people, 10 times as many people, but they've never met you before. Which door are you going to go in if you want to sell more of your stuff?
Right. Absolutely. The one who they already know you, we always
That's exactly
start
right.
there. Absolutely. I know that's one of the very first things when I'm working with the company is very first question, do you have customers? Most people do. Let me see your database. Let's start looking at who those customers are and figuring out. I know just by marketing to them, the response is so much higher just because of what you're saying versus going after new ones. It works from little teeny tiny databases I've done this with all the way up to much bigger ones, but it's all about that relationship. That's where it all begins.
So Charles, here's an interesting thing that people could do, and it's very, very simple. So everybody that's watching this and still going, I think I sell a good number of repeats. Take an Excel spreadsheet, and across the top, just list however many you have. List the different products you sell. And if you're in the service-based business, just list the number of services. So if you're a consultant, you might consult on HR issues, on marketing, whatever it is. List those across the top, and down the side will be your customer list, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just do a kind of a microcosm of somebody with a big list. So let's say there's 10 items going across the top, 10 things that you sell, and down here are 10 customers. What I want you to do is then fill in with an X or a colored square, whatever it is. Okay, so, John Smith, how many did he buy? Well, he bought this, and then he bought this, and then Susan bought just this. I guarantee most businesses will have 1 or 2 at the most X's or, colored circles or something like that. Your goal, if you want to have a really, really profitable business, get all those things filled in. And you can do that by using a newsletter, by staying informed, by mailing them, by any of the number of different ways that I teach and that you teach. You develop these relationships. And, it's interesting. If you were to have a customer, Charles, and maybe you run into him at a cocktail party and he says, oh, by the way, yeah, I just installed, the XYZ system in my office, and it's something you happen to sell. And you go, well, how come you didn't give me a chance to bid on that? And his answer is always, I didn't know you sold that, or I didn't know you did that or installed that. And whose job is it to find that out? It's not his. It's your job to tell your current customers all the different ways you can make their life better or faster, more profitable, or more enjoyable, whatever.
That's where the newsletter comes in so handy because it's a very soft sell, like you like to talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
So talk about newsletters. Being you're known as the newsletter guru, let's touch on newsletters and the power of retention with them. So
the thing about a newsletter is it arrives, and I'm talking about print and mail, paper and ink newsletters that get mailed to somebody's mailbox, not the inbox. And maybe 8 years ago even, it was kind of fun to get email and good-looking emails, and they're fun, informative, but nobody's looking for email. I still do email because you never want to completely stop doing something, but for the most part, the open rate is so horrendous that if you relied on email, and what I like to say is if you had 1,000 customers in your business and you did email alone, not print and mail, direct mail, if you did email alone, if you got even 100 of your 1,000 customers to open and look at that email, you're a rock star online marketer. Most cases, you're going to get something, 2%, maybe 3-4%. What that means is that it's still an economical way to market and grab some business, but anywhere from 90 to 95% of your customers are not hearing from you. That's why you got to send them a hard copy newsletter into their mailbox, because guaranteed they're going to pull it out and look at it. If it's not done correctly, they may throw it out, right? But at least they're going to get it. You've got a 100% chance it's going to be delivered into their box. And then, I know we don't have a whole lot of time to do a whole newsletter kind of strategy session here, but you've got to make it not about you. It's got to be fun, interesting, and informative and entertaining. And if it is that, people will look forward to it every month. They'll read it, and if they do that alone, you're going to stay top of mind.
Yep. So as far as mailing a hard newsletter out, some people, I know some strategies, they just mail their current customers. Some mail current customers and previous customers. What are your ideas on the difference in those two strategies?
Well, not only should you mail current and past customers, a newsletter is a great way to get new business as well. So if you have a target, you know exactly your target customer. So I'll just use, let's just say you're a financial planner, Charles, right? And so you want to work with people within, say, a 3 to 5 mile radius of your office, and you know that most of your clients have a net worth of, let's just say, $500,000. They've got 2 kids, cars, they know what their credit rating is. Whatever you can do to figure out who your target customer is, you go to a list broker, InfoUSA or any of them, and you say, give me all the names within 3 miles of my office that fit these criteria. And then you start mailing those people, because we know that if this is your perfect target customer, and you know that because that's how you built your business, why not find more of those type of people, right? Yeah. So yes, you mail your current customers, you mail your past customers. I have so many stories of people that mail past customers. One guy I'm thinking about up in Boston, who's getting pounded with snow as we're recording this, but one guy up in Boston asked me that same question. I said, yes, mail your past customers. He told me, I think it was about a year later, he sent me an email and said, hey, Jim, I just want to let you know, I started mailing my past clients. One guy left our business because he got a lesser rate for doing what we do, and he left me basically for price. Well, there's only one way you're going to get a lesser price. He got lesser service, and he wasn't happy about it. And he came back, and he's now back with me. He said, Jim, I guarantee that the fact that I was in his face every month with my newsletter not only reminded him of who I was, because I was keeping the relationship alive, it was more comfortable for him to make the call and said, you know, his name happened to be Jim. Hey, Jim, you know, the grass isn't always greener. Are you open to having a conversation? And that led to his getting that client back.
Right. Well, one of the things you talked about was targeting, and this is another thing a lot of businesses don't understand. And the financial planner example that you just used, you know, just by that example off your head, they were already either triple or quadruple qualified before you ever even contacted them. That alone increases your response. I mean, the whole principle of direct marketing and laser-like focus versus shotgun approach that most businesses use, I mean, the success of that, I mean, they're already triple qualified before you ever reach out to them. You know, I mean, that's the power of direct marketing that I love so much. So just reaching out to people, you know. So talk to us more about targeting if you can. As far as how do people go about identifying who their top customers are or who their market is? Like if you're, say you're just starting out and you're just starting a business, like you've got some testing and, you know, there's a lot of variables there, but how would somebody just start out? If they're, you know,
you mean at ground zero, like just starting out?
Yeah, say they're just starting out. Like, how would they go about determining who that customer is to even mail to at the beginning? So,
well, if you don't have the historical data from your own customers, from your own business, and if you're just starting out, therefore you don't, look at other businesses and do some research and find out who they are. I mean, you know, if we would just stay with the financial planner example, let's say that guy was brand new. Well, there's enough people he could talk to, do some research, other people in the business, associations, there's trade groups. He could figure out, and by the way, he probably knows anyway. So if you're starting a business, I mean, let me think of something kind of strange. I always like giving a strange one. Let's say you knit Afghans or shawls or something, right? Stuff hanging on the back of your couch at your grandma's house. Well, who actually buys those? I guarantee kids, you know, 18 to 25 aren't going to buy some kind of shawl, right? Most likely. Most of the people, I'll narrow it down. It's the shawl that you wear, right? Most of those people, my guess, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, are going to be probably 50 plus. That's probably fair. They're going to be women. We know that. I've never seen a man wear a shawl. So you start narrowing down, and you can start that way. But you know, if you start an automotive repair business in your local neighborhood, well, anybody with a car is a good client. So that's very, very broad. But you're not going to mail everybody with a car. You could mail people that live within 2 miles of your repair shop. Maybe offer some kind of a free clinic or a free checkup, change your air, rotate your I mean, you know, Auntie Anne's pretzels, when they first started out, who likes an Auntie Anne pretzels? Everybody. And so when they open a new location, for a day or two, they gave out free pretzels. Well, people love them so much they're hooked, and every time they come back to the mall or wherever, they buy an Auntie Anne's pretzel. Same thing in any business. Get somebody to try it. If you have a new restaurant, a new deli, and you're opening up, go to the local office building that might be right down the block and go pick an office and say, we're going to deliver lunch You pick a day next week, and we're actually going to deliver lunch for free. If your subs are that good and your desserts are that good, where are those people going to go next time? It's a good chance they're going to now know who you are. So I don't know. Does that help you?
It does. It does. And when it comes to marketing, some people would say, "Oh, we're giving away all these products," but what else are you going to do to market your business to get people to know? And that's a perfect example because it's relative to where you are positioning, geographically. So,
Here's the thing. So Charles, I'm just as we're recording this, I just finished the last chapter for my new book, Decide, which may be out when this video comes out. It's coming out in early March. And here's the thing, there's an expression you have to spend money to make money. It's mostly true. I'm sure there's examples where you don't have to. You could really, really bootstrap it and start. But at some of my darkest times as an entrepreneur, in like 2006, 2007, when I was starting out, I was letting my first business go, but my online business wasn't taking hold. I still had a fair amount of debt. And I started getting these opportunities, whether it was to join a coaching group or to go to some seminar and exhibit. I remember in 2007, I think I had an opportunity to exhibit. It was $5,000 to buy the booth space, the 10 by 10 booth. I then had to, obviously pay my airfare and hotel and meals, even if I, did oatmeal in the room, which I did in the morning, instant oatmeal. I mean, there's ways that you can economize, but for the most part, and then I had to create a booth. It was easily a $7,000 to $8,000 decision. Already in debt. Do I now go further into debt, or do I just kind of bootstrap it and keep growing? I went further into debt. In fact, I did it 4 times. I mean, I incurred some serious expense money under the marketing column on my P&L, but it really helped to transform my business. So, a lot of people will say, no debt, no debt. And that's fine. I mean, how many times have you bought a car for cash? Do you have a mortgage on your house? I mean, if you say, I'm going to not buy my house until I can do it with just cash, you're going to be renting an apartment for one heck of a long time. Yep. Or living in your parents' basement, whatever that looks like. In other words, you have to decide, I'm going to be successful. I want to grow a business faster. I want to get there and have a lifestyle. Are you in or are you out? Do you have one foot on the dock and one foot in your speedboat and you're kind of walking along? And where are you going to be? There comes a point where you have to decide.
Yep, you do. And I think a lot of that, Napoleon Hill talks about this a lot. Just the biggest person that is, deters your success isn't competition. It's you for an entrepreneur. Like having that decision. You made a post on Facebook the other day about head trash, and that's one of your chapters in your book coming up.
Yep.
Head trash, and because that goes right into decisions. So
head trash is big, man, and I've never met an entrepreneur who doesn't have head trash. I mean, head trash could be anything, such as there's financial head trash, and there's also the kind of head trash where, well, I'm not going to come on Charles' show and be on video because people might think I look dumb, or I can't sit still, or I'm not looking in the camera. What if I say something stupid? What if they think my voice is dumb? I mean, there's all kinds of trash which is going to prevent you. Or I'm not going to go and exhibit at that thing. I got to tell you, when I did that, I'll get a little transparent. I get very transparent in my book, but when I was doing that first exhibit, that was after I had branded myself the newsletter guru. And I understood the concept of branding yourself as the go-to expert, but here I am brand new. I'm the newsletter guru. I'm technically saying I'm the best. I'm the Mac Daddy at newsletters. And I'm going to be in a room with probably 1,000 really smart marketers. And what if somebody comes up to me and goes, what gives you who thinks you're the newsletter? That's head trash. Right. And so to the degree, here's the thing. Entrepreneurs have a skill, or a talent, and they have a work ethic. Those are 3 essential ingredients to becoming a successful entrepreneur, but there's a 4th one, and it's even more important. It's having a proper mindset. It's recognizing the fear, pushing through the fear, and getting out to play a bigger game. There's no big growth that happens when you're playing it safe. All the big growth happens outside your comfort zone, whatever that looks like. And so to the degree, I'll share something else real quick. I know we're coming up on time here, but I hated public speaking. I almost took an F in high school because this history class, everybody had to take turns reading the book. I think the teacher was lazy, so everybody took turns reading the book in front of the class. I was always conspicuously absent on my day and hoped that he wouldn't come back to me, right? I mean, I avoided public speaking at all costs. Now I speak in front of hundreds of people, and I realized that, Charles, becoming a speaker, becoming an author was an essential ingredient in becoming more successful. I did everything. I share everything I did in the book. I mean, I went to hypnosis. I looked at every single cure, and I did them all. I don't even know which one worked, but I did them all, and now I can speak in front of people. That's the idea. You got to get rid of the head trash. Are you in or are you out? And you must decide, and hence the name of my book.
Now, so for your book, Decide, tell us more about that and where they can find it.
It's called Decide, the Ultimate Success Trigger. And the funny thing is, when I wrote my last book, book number 5, which is Stop Waiting for It to Get Easier, Create Your Dream Business Now, I said, that's 5 books in 5 years. I want to take a break. And then when I started doing these live events, I started feeling these nudges. When I did Dream Business Academy in Philadelphia, there's a module that I teach. It's about mindset, success. I talk about money and things like that. And it's very powerful because I share a lot of my story. And a few people after I taught that session said, Jim, you ought to put that stuff in a book. You got to reach a bigger audience. And that was like a little nudge for me. Oh, doggone it, do I got to write another book, And literally, I felt like 3 or 4 more nudges within about 2 weeks. I said, okay, I've learned late in my life, Charles, not to ignore the nudges. So I made a commitment to write the book. I started late November of 2014, so I've been working like a dog December, January, and February, and the book will be out March 10th. You can, of course, look for it on Amazon. It'll be there, paperback or Kindle. It'll be on my website. I do have a website for the book. I don't remember the URL I grabbed, but you can go to getjimpalmer.com, and you'll see that. We're going to have a whole book launch, and I don't want to say everything I'm doing right now in case I change, but there's going to be some pretty cool things if you buy it from my website. Of course, you can get it anywhere.
Gotcha. That's awesome, man. I know what the biggest lesson I've learned out of the last couple of years is challenges into opportunities, and what you perceive as a negative, you can just as easily perceive as a positive, and just it's flipping your mindset, So anyway, thanks, Jim. I really appreciate you being here and helping me with the summit, and I was so excited when I got that text from you that you were going to do it. I was overjoyed, man. So, anyway,
well, it's an honor to be with you. And listen, you've had quite a journey yourself, and you've never stopped, and you've taken every challenge. And I believe, the people who really have great success are people that have not only understand but have gone through some tough times. And what I like to tell people is, if you're a seed planter, if you plant seed, I believe we reap what we sow, Charles. So if you sow seeds into your family, into your community, your church, into your business, your customers, clients, patients, you just sow so many seeds. In other words, be a giver. Like my great friend Bob Berg, the co-author of The Go-Giver, says, be a giver. Serve others first. That's going to be the first way you get. I know you're a giver, so I think there's a big, nice future right around the corner for you.
Hey, man, thank you. I know I've been judging success in that little boy. We'll wrap this up, but just a developmental doctor. He told me in November he's had 12 months of growth in the last 6 months. Those are the numbers I've been measuring my life by, and success, man. So anyway, I thank you so much for this. And I can't thank you enough, Jim. And hopefully we'll stay in touch and see each other soon, man. So
you got it, Charles. God bless you. Thank you for having me.
God bless you too, man. Thanks, Jim.
All right.